In a rare TV appearance, Queen Elizabeth is remembering the day she was crowned nearly 65 years ago.
I declare before you all that my whole life, whether it be long or short, shall be devoted to your service.
Queen Elizabeth had a reign that amazed the world with its elegance and strength, but behind palace doors, loads of intriguing mysteries and secrets. From internet-famous moments to unexpected slip-ups, join us as we dive into some of the quirkiest highlights from the Queen's rule. Number 20. A royal ride. Did you know that Queen Elizabeth II, at the age of 72, gave a Saudi prince quite the ride of his life? Our beloved Queen had been driving since she was just 19. Yes, she even tinkered with trucks during World War II. Fast forward to 1998, when Crown Prince Abdullah of Saudi Arabia visited her at Balmoral Castle. After a hearty lunch, it was time for a tour of the sprawling 50,000-acre estate. The Land Rovers lined up and the prince was shown to the passenger seat. But guess who hopped into the driver's seat? The Queen herself. Now imagine the prince's surprise. Not only was the head of another nation driving him around, but back in his homeland, Saudi Arabia, women weren't even allowed to drive. Off they went, with Queen Elizabeth zipping through the twisty mountain roads, chattering away. The prince, through his interpreter, kept urging her to take it slow. He was clearly not ready for a royal roller coaster. The cherry on top? This delightful story was shared by Sir Sherard Cooper-Coles, a British diplomat. Though he wasn't there when it happened, he learned about it directly from the two stars of the story. And when he met the Queen in 2003 before becoming the ambassador to Saudi Arabia, she recounted the tale, chuckling at the memory. Number 19. A royal twist to cake cutting. When most people cut a cake, they reach for a knife. But when Queen Elizabeth II was asked to slice a cake at the Eden Project in Cornwall during the G7 summit, she had a different idea. Instead of a typical knife, the Queen chose a ceremonial sword given to her by the Lord Lieutenant of Cornwall, Edward Bolitho. With a twinkle in her eye, she commented, "I don't think this is going to work," as the sword got stuck in the cake. Beside her, Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, and Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, couldn't hold back their giggles. They were all there to meet wonderful volunteers from the Cornish community who had been supporting one another during the COVID-19 pandemic. The whole scene was captured in a video that soon spread like wildfire on social media. Many were delighted to see the Queen's unexpected cake-cutting technique and her confidence with the sword. The event was in honor of the Big Lunch Initiative. Started in 2009 by the Eden Project, this heartwarming charity motivates communities to dine, volunteer, and bond together. Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, who is a proud patron of this initiative, even lent a hand, helping the Queen with the last slice of the cake. Number 18. The Queen's quip at the G7 summit. But that's not the only moment that stood out from the G7 summit. You see, it's not every day that world leaders gather in one place. And when they do, it's usually serious business. So, during the 2021 G7 summit in Carbis Bay, Cornwall, everyone was in for a treat. As Queen Elizabeth II stood with leaders from Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States for a group photo, she made a playful remark. The Queen asked, "Are you supposed to be looking as if you're enjoying yourself?" The room burst into laughter. The G7 summit is quite a big deal. Every year, the heads of 7 major global economies come together. They chat, discuss, and brainstorm about issues that touch not just their countries, but the whole world. It's a time for these big decision-makers to find ways to make our planet a better place. But, amid these high-level talks, there's always room for a little fun. And who better to add a sprinkle of laughter than Queen herself? That day in Cornwall, her witty comment lightened the mood, reminding everyone that even in serious moments, it's okay to smile. Number 17. A toast and a tease at the Jubilee. Back in 2012, London was buzzing with excitement. It was Queen Elizabeth II's Diamond Jubilee. That meant she had been queen for 60 years. A massive celebration was in order, and the guest list. Oh, it reads like a who's who of global leaders. One of the standout moments came from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. During a fancy reception at St. James's Palace, he stood up to honor the Queen. With a glass raised, he said, "I would like to propose a toast to the continued health and vitality of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who has been an inspiration to all Canadians for her dedication to duty and her love of country." But the Queen, always one for a clever comeback, replied, "Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister of Canada, for making me feel so old." Everyone chuckled because, well, that's the Queen's signature wit shining through. Trudeau's heartfelt toast and the Queen's playful response made it a memorable Diamond Jubilee celebration. And it's not just the humor she was known for. Throughout her reign, the Queen had been a beacon of hope for many, guiding people through ups and downs. Did you know she's supported over 600 charities? 36 of those are in Canada. Number 16. The Queen meets James Bond. 2012 was no ordinary year for London. The city hosted the Summer Olympics, and the opening ceremony had an unexpected twist. A short film began with James Bond, played by the suave Daniel Craig, picking up a very special guest from Buckingham Palace. Guess who? Queen Elizabeth II. They hopped into a helicopter, soaring over London's iconic sights like Tower Bridge and the shimmering River Thames. And then came the big surprise. The Queen, with all her royal grace, seemed to parachute right into the stadium. Of course, once inside, the real Queen appeared, looking every bit as regal as ever, with the stadium erupting into applause. No one saw this coming. Not even the royal family knew about this playful act. It was all thanks to Danny Boyle, the brilliant mind behind the idea. He wanted something that screamed British, and what's more British than the Queen and James Bond? Everything was filmed at Buckingham Palace, with a stunt double doing the daring jump. And the secret? It was guarded like a crown jewel until the very moment it aired. The skit was a hit. It showcased the fun side of British culture, and even gave London tourism a little boost. Number 15. Tea, tunes, and a bear named Paddington. When you think of British icons, a few names might pop into your head. The Queen, the Beatles, and for those who love a good children's tale, Paddington Bear. On June 4th, 2022, two of these icons had a heartwarming virtual tea party. During the Platinum Party at the Palace concert, celebrating Queen Elizabeth II's impressive 70 years on the throne, a delightful video played. The scene was set in Buckingham Palace. There, Queen Elizabeth II and a CGI version of Paddington Bear, voiced by Ben Whishaw, had a cozy afternoon tea. Between sips and pastries, a little mishap occurred. Paddington, being his clumsy self, accidentally spilled cream on a footman. But here's the adorable twist. The Queen reached into her handbag and pulled out a marmalade sandwich, Paddington's favorite. After their sweet rendezvous, Paddington took to Twitter, typing out a heartfelt message. "If we're kind and polite, the world will be right. Thank you." Oh, and the party didn't stop there. The palace was alive with music, as legends like Diana Ross, Rod Stewart, and the band Queen lit up the stage. All in all, it was an evening of unity, nostalgia, and British pride. And the unexpected tea between the Queen and Paddington? It was the cherry on top of a jubilant celebration. Number 14. When the Queen playfully counted her years. Moving on to 2007, when a charming moment unfolded between two world leaders. During a ceremony at the White House, President George W. Bush mistakenly added a couple of centuries to Queen Elizabeth II's age. He said she had celebrated the U.S. bicentennial in 1776 instead of the correct date, 1976. However, the Queen, with her famous wit and humor, saw an opportunity for a playful tease. At a dinner 2 days later hosted by the British ambassador, she began her toast, hinting at the gaffe. "I wondered whether I should start this toast by saying, 'When I was here in 1776.'" The room was filled with laughter. President Bush, ever the sport, responded, "Your Majesty, I can't top that one." It wasn't just about the jest, but the effortless manner in which the Queen used humor to navigate the situation. It showed her grace, her ability to connect, and more than anything, her sparkling wit. Number 13. A royal visit to Westeros. The Game of Thrones set had a royal visitor in 2014, Queen Elizabeth II. As fans of the series know, the Iron Throne is the heart of power struggles in Westeros. But when the Queen was offered a chance to sit on this famous seat, she gracefully declined. Maisie Williams, known to many as Arya Stark, shared a fun tidbit. The Queen took one look at the throne and commented on how it didn't seem too comfy. David Benioff, one of the show's creators, added another twist to the tale. He mentioned that the Queen might have protocol reasons for not taking a seat, as she's not supposed to sit on foreign thrones. A bit of a different rule when you're a real-life queen, it seems. But the Iron Throne aside, the Queen seemed to thoroughly enjoy her day in the land of dragons and dire wolves. She chatted with cast members and took a detailed tour of the set during her 3-day trip to Northern Ireland. And Queen Elizabeth wasn't the only royal to show interest in the realm of Westeros. Prince William and Kate Middleton, too, have walked through the same sets, being fans of the show themselves. All in all, it's fun to imagine the merging of two different worlds, the real British royalty and the fantastical world of Westeros. Number 12. Royal playfulness for a good cause. Back in 2016, a video burst onto social media and quickly became the talk of the town. This wasn't just any video, it was a promo for the Invictus Games. Remember the games? They're this super cool sporting event for brave souls from the armed services who've been wounded, injured, or fallen ill. The video had some high-profile stars, Prince Harry, Michelle Obama, and Barack Obama. They were having this light, playful chat about the games, teasing each other. But the show stealer was none other than Queen Elizabeth II. Picture her, sitting regally at her desk in a classy blue dress and pearls. A photo of Prince William kept her company in the background. Prince Harry gets a message, and up pops the Queen, delivering a fun line with her signature poise. "Oh really, please." But the real kicker, the Queen popped a crown onto her head, and with a mischievous glint in her eye, she said just one word. Boom. Then, in a move nobody expected, she cheekily placed the crown back onto the table and gave the camera that unforgettable smile. The video wasn't just fun, it showed a different playful side of the Queen. It was her way of cheering on Prince Harry's efforts with the Invictus Games and shining a light on the heroes, the wounded veterans. Number 11. The Queen's dark humor at the flower show. Everyone knows the Chelsea Flower Show in London is the place to be if you're into gorgeous gardens. In 2016, it was buzzing with more than just flowers. The Queen of England, Elizabeth II, was there, and boy did she have a surprise up her sleeve. So there's this herb gardener named Jecka McVicker. She was chatting with the Queen and dropped a fun fact. The lily of the valley, a pretty little flower, was once used as a poison. Now, most folks would have just nodded and moved on. But not our Queen. She sparkled back with, "I've been given 2 bunches this week. Perhaps they want me dead." Can you believe it? Everyone's jaws dropped. Then the laughter started. The Chelsea Flower Show wasn't new to her. She had been showing up nearly every year since she was crowned in 1953. As a big patron of the Royal Horticultural Society Chelsea Flower Show, it was like her annual garden party. Number 10, a royal giggle with Granny. In 2006, something special happened at the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst. It was the Sovereign's Parade, a big deal event where young soldiers show their skills. The star of the show? Prince Harry. It was his big day, becoming an official army officer. There were rows of soldiers standing super straight and trying to look serious. But then, Queen Elizabeth walks by. And guess what? Harry, in the middle of this serious event, cracks a big smile at her. Why? Because that's his granny. Yep, right in the middle of everything, he showed off that famous royal grin. Queen Elizabeth isn't a stranger to fun moments. She's been caught laughing at family jokes, and there was that time in 2003 at Windsor Castle when a bunch of bees tried to join the party. She just laughed it off with Prince Philip. Number 9. Queen's surprise snapshot. Something cool happened in Glasgow during the Commonwealth Games in 2014. J.D. Taylor, an Australian field hockey star, was having a fun moment. She decided to take a selfie with a friend. Just as they clicked the photo, guess who popped up in the background? Queen Elizabeth II, and she was smiling. Before anyone knew it, that photo was everywhere. Jade was super excited and shared it on Twitter, talking about how her selfie got photobombed. It wasn't just Jade's friends who loved it, the whole world did. News channels, newspapers, everyone was talking about it. The best part, this wasn't the first time the Queen jumped into a picture like that. It just goes to show, She's got a playful side and loves to have a bit of fun. Everyone remembered that day, not just for the games, but for the Queen's surprise appearance in a selfie. Number 8. A royal sneak peek. Queen Elizabeth II holds a record. She's been Britain's queen longer than anyone else. People around the world see her as graceful and elegant. But guess what? Just like everyone else, she has moments where she's, well, just being herself. In 2014, at the Royal Windsor Horse Show, a photo captured her doing something funny. She was enjoying the sun, watching her horse, and she had her finger close to her nose. It seemed like she was picking her nose, and this picture spread like wildfire online. Then, rewind to 2010 in Canada. Dressed in a bright pink outfit, the Queen was again spotted in a similar pose. Some thought maybe she just had a cold. And in 2005, during the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne, cameras caught her in this candid moment. The best part? It was live TV. Millions saw it, and many felt, hey, she's just like us. Now here's a little secret. The Queen isn't the only royal who's been caught in such moments. Prince Harry, Prince William, Prince Charles, and even Princess Diana have been seen doing the same. These moments remind us of that Queen Elizabeth, with all her grand titles, is also wonderfully human. Number 7. A hat that made headlines. Back in 2017, the Queen surprised everyone during the state opening of the Parliament. Instead of wearing her traditional robe and crown, she chose a simple day dress. But it wasn't the dress that caught everyone's attention. It was her hat. The hat was blue and yellow, just like the colors of the European Union flag. Almost instantly, people started wondering, was the Queen trying to tell us something about Brexit? Was this her secret way of showing support for the European Union? Or maybe she wasn't happy about the decision to leave. The guessing game was on. The timing of the outfit choice was interesting. There was a quick election just 4 days earlier, and right after the Parliament event, the Queen was off to the Royal Ascot, a big deal in her calendar. So the outfit also needed to be something she could easily switch out of. But the hat's real story? It wasn't what many thought. Angela Kelly, the Queen's trusted dresser for over 25 years, gave us the scoop in her book, The Other Side of the Coin, The Queen, the Dresser, and the Wardrobe. Angela explained that the hat's design had nothing to do with politics. It was simply a fashion choice. The blue and yellow hat was designed to make sure everyone could see the Queen's face clearly. And those little yellow decorations? They were just cute flowers made of feathers with tiny pearls. Everyone had a good chuckle when they learned the truth. It was a simple hat, not a secret message. Number 6. A royal misstep at Windsor Castle. On a sunny day, July 13, 2018, Windsor Castle had a visitor from across the pond. Donald Trump, the U.S. president, was there for a ceremonial meetup with Queen Elizabeth II. All was set for a traditional military event, the inspection of the honor guard, where marching and saluting are the order of the day. But then, something unexpected happened. Walking side by side, Queen Elizabeth and Trump were getting into the groove of the ceremony. Suddenly, Trump paused, making the Queen shuffle around him. For a moment, she looked a bit puzzled, maybe even a tad frustrated. She tried signaling to Trump, probably thinking, "Keep moving, Mr. President." But it seemed Trump missed the memo, and once again ended up strolling right in front of her. Soon, the clip was all over social media. Comments flooded in, with some folks playfully saying Trump walked like he was on a golf course. Others pointed out that he had missed a beat earlier, too, by not giving a bow when he first saw the Queen. Yet in the middle of this unusual dance, one person stayed cool as a cucumber. A guard, there to make sure everything went smoothly, didn't miss a step or show any sign of surprise. He continued his role, escorting the Queen and her guest, probably thinking, just another day at Windsor Castle. Now, it's time for today's subscriber pick. In this interesting set of pictures, we can see that the Queen seems to be really enjoying her time with a dolphin, but has a hard time picking food. What do you think is the story behind these pictures? What would she pick? Tell us about your thoughts in the comments below. Number 5. A startling day at the parade. 1981 was not just any other year for Queen Elizabeth II's iconic birthday parade, known as Trooping the Color. On that day, Queen Elizabeth was proudly riding her beloved horse, Burmese, enjoying the sounds of marching bands and cheers from the crowd. But amidst the celebration, a man named Marcus Sargent decided to make an unexpected and frightening mark. From quite a close range, Marcus fired not one, not two, but 6 shots in the direction of the Queen. Everyone gasped. What were those shots? Were they real? And was the Queen safe? It turned out that, fortunately, those were blanks, not real bullets. But the noise and the sudden action spooked Burmese. Yet, in a display of pure grit and skill, Queen Elizabeth quickly calmed her horse down, ensuring no further panic spread through the crowd. Now, Burmese wasn't just any horse. This majestic animal was a special gift to the Queen by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police back in 1969. As for Marcus Sargent, his actions landed him in prison for 5 long years. While some called it an assassination attempt, others wondered if Marcus was just craving some attention. Looking back, what stands out from that parade in 1981 isn't the scare or the chaos, but the Queen's incredible composure and the unbreakable bond she shared with her horse. Number 4. An unexpected visitor at Buckingham Palace. Once upon a July morning in 1982, Buckingham Palace, usually bustling with royal duties, experienced a startling surprise. Michael Fagan, a 34-year-old painter with a troubled past, had a daring idea after a night filled with too much drink. Bravely, or maybe foolishly, Michael made his way into the palace. He leapt over fences and shimmied up the drain pipes, sneaking in through an open window. Once inside, he strolled around as if he owned the place, munching on cheese and crackers, admiring the royal family's portraits, even daring to perch on a throne for a bit. Now, you'd think alarms blaring would summon the guards in a jiffy. Well, they did ring, but were dismissed as faulty. But the pinnacle of Michael's palace adventure was a face-to-face encounter with none other than Queen Elizabeth II herself. He tiptoed into her bedroom and with a gentle tug on the curtains, woke her up from a peaceful slumber. The Queen, though surprised, tried to stay calm and chat with her unexpected guest. They spoke about his family, his thoughts on politics, and even cigarettes, of which the Queen had none to offer. While they chatted, a housemaid strolled in, and upon seeing the unexpected scene, dashed for help. The Queen, ever so composed, managed to ring up the palace staff and alerted them of her uninvited guest. Michael, still in the company of the Queen, sipped on a whiskey she kindly offered to help him relax. But the moment a footman entered to confront him, Michael, in a burst of emotion, threw his drink. Soon after, the police arrived, and Michael's grand palace tour came to an abrupt end. The aftermath? A lot of questions about palace security and the Queen's safety. But despite the risks, Michael faced charges of trespassing and wine theft, but avoided more serious accusations as he didn't harm the Queen. And our brave Queen? She later humorously said she wished Michael had something threatening, so she could have swung a vase at him. Number 3. The day Queen Elizabeth played tourist. In 2022, deep in the heart of Scotland at Balmoral Castle, an amusing tale unfolded that people still talk about. Queen Elizabeth II, the very heart of the British monarchy, decided to take a leisurely stroll around her vast estate. The Scottish wind gently tousled her hair. Dressed in her everyday wear with a cozy headscarf, she looked like anyone else enjoying the scenic beauty. On her walk, she stumbled upon a bunch of American tourists. Starting a casual chat, the tourists asked her where she was from. Playing along, the Queen told them she lived in London and also had a little holiday home nearby. The topic soon shifted to the ever-famous Queen Elizabeth. Did the lady, they wondered aloud, ever meet the Queen? With a twinkle in her eye, the Queen gestured to her protection officer, Richard Griffin, saying he'd met the Queen quite a few times. Griffin, seizing the opportunity for a playful jest, added that the Queen could sometimes be a little grumpy, but had a great sense of humor. The highlight? The unsuspecting tourists handed their camera to the Queen, asking her to snap a photo of them with Griffin. And the Queen did, without missing a beat. Richard Griffin later shared this heartwarming story with Sky News, expressing hope that one day the tourists would recognize their mystery photographer. And the Queen? She found the entire episode rather delightful. Number 2, a royal day with kids and a quick buy. It was an ordinary day in Coram, home to the UK's longest-standing children's charity. Well, ordinary until Queen Elizabeth II graced the place with her royal presence. The energy was high, excitement filled the air, and the children were buzzing with anticipation. But no one could predict what young Nathan Grant would do. As 9-year-old Nathan stood with his adoptive parents, the famous Fame Academy judges David and Cary Grant, it was his turn to meet the monarch. But instead of a formal greeting, he quickly dashed out of the room, but not before giving a cheerful, "Bye!" The room erupted in laughter, turning a formal event into a heartwarming, playful moment. The kid literally crawled out of the room. The reason for this delightful royal visit was the inauguration of Queen Elizabeth II Center, a beacon of hope and help for vulnerable children. This place, standing proudly at the historic site of the Foundling Hospital in London, has been a safe haven for children since way back in 1739 when it first received the royal charter. As the day neared its end, a festive activity awaited outside, decorating Coram's Christmas tree. 8-year-old Shyla Gordon-Clark was adding her special touch when she found it a tad challenging. But in a heartwarming gesture, Queen Elizabeth II came forward, helping her complete the task. It was, indeed, a day filled with laughs, warm moments, and a touch of history, showing that royal visits are more than just formalities. They're about human connections. Number 1. The Queen and her four-legged friends. Did you know that alongside ruling the United Kingdom, Queen Elizabeth II had a second passion that kept her busy? Horses? Yes, the Queen had a soft spot for these magnificent creatures, and her journey with them started when she was just a tiny tot. Picture a 4-year-old Elizabeth receiving her first pony. It was a cute little Shetland named Peggy. That's where it all began. With some riding lessons from her father, King George VI, who himself loved horses, young Elizabeth was soon galloping around the palace gardens. As years went by, she got more ponies. Some were gifts from different places. For instance, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police gave her a beautiful black mare named Nancy. But her love for horses wasn't just limited to riding. When she turned 18, she took a keen interest in horse racing. From inheriting some impressive thoroughbreds from her dad, Queen Elizabeth II became a big name in the world of horse racing. And her horses won some of the fanciest races. Races like the Epsom Derby, the Ascot Gold Cup, and the St. Leger Stakes had winners owned by the Queen. She even set up her horse farms at Sandringham and Windsor, where she took a hands-on approach in caring for her horses. Apart from racing, the Queen dipped her toes in different horse-related sports, like show jumping and dressage. She collected trophies and medals, adding the Royal Windsor Horse Show Cup and the European Driving Championship to her shelf. Every time you saw her, whether at public events or in photographs, the Queen's fondness for horses was always evident. She sported hats and brooches with horse designs. And let's not forget her heartwarming speech at the British Horse Society's headquarters, or her touching tribute to her favorite riding horse, Burmese. Even as the years went by and she grew older, the Queen's mornings often included riding at Windsor or Balmoral. She loved all sorts of ponies, from the sturdy Fell and Highland ponies to the graceful Connemara ponies. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.